welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be talking about my top 3 favorite lenses for the Canon RF system. Now, I use the Canon EOS R6 for a lot of my side stuff, and when I'm traveling with my professional work, of course, I use cinema cameras because you should be using cinema cameras if you're shooting professionally. However, I do a lot of traveling and I do a lot of YouTube videos, so I like to use something quick, easy and simple to work with. And in this video, we're going to cover the 3 lenses that I use the most with Canon EOS R6. My favorite lens with the Canon EOS R6, of course, is the Canon 50mm 1.2. This is the RF L series version. This thing is sharp, even at a 1.2, which I've never shot at before, but now that I have access to it, it's kind of fun to use for close-ups. And I'm really digging it. One of the reasons why I like this lens is because how sharp it is, how heavy it is to help offset the fact that it doesn't have stabilization built into the lens. But because it's so heavy and paired with the EOS R6 that does have in-body stabilization, you can shoot handheld with this, which makes a great feature for anyone who does run and gun or minimalist filmmaking. Now, the only downside about this lens for some of you will probably be the cost of the lens, because I think it's around $2,000 to $3,000. For me, that's not that bad because I do run a full-time video production company, so I can always use it as a write-off. You know, the more our company grows, the more money we make, the more my tax guy tells me I have to spend money. So the benefit of having a production company, of course, is that you can buy things like this and keep down your tax deductible. So my second favorite lens for the Canon EOS R6 right now is the 85mm. It's an f2. But what I love about this lens is the fact that it's a macro lens, it's stabilized, and it's an 85, which is epic for B-roll and portraits. If you're shooting B-roll and you're not using a 50mm, which I would suggest, then I would lean towards an 85. Now, the beautiful part about this 85mm lens is if you use the cropping feature within the R5 and the R6, then you can ultimately turn this 85 into like 115 by cropping in. And it's the same that goes with the 50mm and then the other lens we're going to talk about today, the 35. But with this lens, it does come with features on the side. You can change the focusing distance. I just keep it set at full, which you probably should too. Autofocus and manual focus, you can switch that on and off, which I love, because on the cheaper lenses, something like this cheap little guy here, which I don't recommend, you can't do that. And then it has a stabilized feature. Of course, you want to keep that on, and you can access that nice little control feature like you can with all of the RF lenses, and then you can manual focus as well too with this lens. Now, because this lens is stabilized, you can get really amazing handheld footage with an 85mm for once in your life. And I'm really digging that. If you have this camera, you're probably shooting handheld anyway. So the 85mm is sharp, it's really crisp, and you can easily adapt some of your favorite filters to it as well. I have this little filter on here from, I believe this is Moment. So this 85mm is an f2. So if you need to get that extra bit of light coming into the lens in dark situations, there's a small chance that you won't be able to do that. Now, if you're shooting at 24 frames per second and your ISO is set to 800, which it should be if you're shooting with the R6 or R5, then you can pretty much get anything exposed that you want to. Now, the third and final favorite lens for the Canon EOS R6, and it could be for the R5, is the 35mm 1.8. Now, Canon does have a 35mm L series 1.4 or 1.2 coming out, but I feel like it's not going to be as powerful as this one and the 85 paired together, because this is a wide angle lens. It's a 1.8, it's stabilized, and it's also a macro lens, just like the 85. With these two paired together, you can basically capture anything that you want with the cropping feature. With a cropping feature, you have a 35 and a 50-ish, and then here you got an 85 and a 100-ish. And because the camera is a full frame camera, you're not going to struggle with getting wide shots, because the 35 should be wide enough for just about anything you need. A 24 could work well, but a 35 seems to be the sweet spot. Now, this lens is small, it's lightweight, it's really affordable. I think it's like $300 or $400 or so, and It's sharp. It's really sharp. And because it's 1.8, it lets in a lot of light. And that's why I choose to carry it with me, because it's light. And I absolutely love using that lens for handheld videography. Anyway, those are the 3 lenses that I would suggest for the Canon R6. Anyway, guys, that's all for me. If you found this video helpful and you want to learn more, like, comment, and subscribe, because it does help grow the reach of this channel. But I'll see you in the next one.